Hey everyone, welcome to Craving Something Scary, where it's all horror all the time. What you're going to see in this video is a clip from a presentation titled The People vs. Stu Macher, and where we give evidence and show factual data regarding the injuries sustained by Stu Macher and ask the question, could he have survived? Could you or I survive? That's a great question. So rather than use hyperbole and opinion, let's look at the data. Let's go. Mr. Loomis, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. I really appreciate that. I wanted to tackle this area where people have said that he would die from his blood loss and succumb to the stab wounds. In that particular scene, he said he was dying, and we know that he lived on the outskirts of town, and it would have taken time for emergency services to arrive. Supposedly, he would have bled out before help would arrive. And as we see in these photos here, I wanted to show some of the wounds that he inflicted. He was stabbed 4 times. As you can see here in the back, you see where he was stabbed in the blood trail. Now, the one thing I want to mention as we hold it right here, Your Honor, a person can lose up to 30 to 40% of their total blood volume before even having a traumatic reaction. Now, that 30 to 40% equates to half a gallon of blood. And that's pretty intense. When you look at his sweater, you definitely do not see that much. And we will actually be presenting more images to support that from my fellow councilman. But also, people donate blood. When they do that, they usually give 1 pint, and they might feel woozy, but they're still fully physically capable. As you can see, after he was stabbed, he was still able to come at Sydney with an attack. He was thrown over the couch, tumbled with her, and still able to talk, to try to overtake her, and so forth. So this is another part of what I think would show that he would not succumb to the stab wounds. Now, another thing I want to bring up as well is that there was a story about 2 years ago where there was a Tennessee woman who survived 37 stab wounds and 4 gunshot wounds. So as you can see, the fact that Stu got stabbed 4 times, it is quite possible for him to survive those stab wounds and to not succumb from blood loss. As we also saw in Scream 5, Chad was stabbed 7 times and he was able to survive. We've seen that with other characters too, including Dewey, so it is very possible for Stu to survive his stab wounds. Now, what I would like to do is pass it over to my fellow councilperson, L.O. Archie, because we have further evidence that we wanted to show through some images. So I'll pass it on to him now.
Thank you very much, Counselor. As my counselor said, we do have further evidence to this. Going once again to what he said, you can experience up to 40% blood loss before having a traumatic event. Now, for an average sized person, that is approximately 0.53 gallons of blood. We also know that Stu Macher is not an average sized person. Stu Macher is 6'4". So, keeping that in mind, Counselor, would you pull up Exhibit S-2-1, please?
Certainly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what you're seeing here is a spray bottle full of a blood substitute. Now, I don't know how well you can see it, but those are ounce markings on there to measure a quantity of blood spray. Counselor, if you could, please go to S-2-2. This is an approximation of the Stu Macher shirt and the results of his stab wounds. I used the previous spray bottle you see to replicate the shirt. Now, in doing this, I used approximately 16 ounces of blood. That is all it took to saturate that much of the shirt. Now, as we said, the 40% of blood that you can lose equates to about 0.53 gallons. The 16 ounces approximately that I used only equates to about 1.75 cups. So half a gallon is 8 cups. So if you can keep that in mind, we have a lot less blood than it would take for someone to pass out. So in turn, I took the 0.5 gallons of blood that it would have taken to cause a traumatic event, and I used the same experiment on the second shirt. Your Honor, if you could move to S-2-3.
Okay.
This shirt started out white, ladies and gentlemen. It used approximately 34 ounces of blood to completely saturate the entire shirt. Now, 34 ounces only equates to about 4.25 cups. So what I'm saying to you is half of the amount of blood it would have taken before he experienced a traumatic event completely saturated the entire shirt. So there is no way, from the evidence we have, we can prove Stu Macher would have died from blood loss. He simply did not lose enough blood on screen to pass away. He only lost about a quarter of the amount it would have taken him before he experienced a traumatic event. Thank you, Your Honor.